Well, take two. Thank you for joining us for Bible Bits today and Clips. It's the 11th day of October, Tuesday. Still pretty warm in Phoenix in the mid to high 90s, but getting better. Today we're going to take a look at one of our biggest problems. We do not fully understand the grace of God, and in many ways it handicaps us. Tim Keller is going to take 3 minutes to discuss this with us in his study, and we do appreciate your comments below, as well as you hitting subscribe, and your thoughts to go along with this. Here we go.
See, those who cling to worthless idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs. Salvation is of the Lord. And at that point he's released, because at that point now he can be released.
Yes. So he speaks of the salvation of the Lord is because we cling to idols. That's not a good thing. But now you see Jonah, before he was called of God, but he didn't answer the call of God. He knew a lot about God, but he went about it his own way. And God saves him now because he's desperately in need of grace, especially in the belly of a whale. Had to be awful 3 days.
Now he can be a burning and shining light. Now he's ready for anything. Now let's apply this to ourselves right away. Let's think about this very personally. If it's true that Jonah, a person who talked face to face with God, who got revelation from God, a great prophet of the Old Testament, if Jonah can be blind to grace to the point where it distorts his very life, it's even more likely that all of us in this room, to one degree or another, are also blind to it. And to one degree or another, here's the thesis of the sermon, all right? That our most severe problems are caused by an ignorance of the true depths of the meaning of God's grace. That's the thesis. That's the book. That's what I'm trying to get across. Your most severe problems, whatever they are, they may have a lot of secondary causes, but a primary cause is our ignorance, our lack of understanding of the true depths of the meaning of God's grace. And
so what is grace?
Until we get it the way Jonah had to get it, we'll be like him, virtually locked up, a shadow of what we can be and what we should be. Grace is like a huge mansion, like one of those mansions that you go into and you think you've seen it all, and then lo and behold you turn a corner and there's another entire hallway full of unexplored rooms, and every time you find a new wing in the house of God's grace, you're lifted, you're brought up into a higher level of life and greatness. Now, listen, even though that's the way we grow our entire lives, by finding more and more wings and unexplored rooms in God's grace, the big change happens at the beginning. The first time we really grasp God's grace is the moment that we have the big change. Because what makes Christianity different from every other religion is this: the teaching of God's grace. God's grace is the essence of the gospel. There's a great verse in the book of Galatians. And in the book of Galatians, Paul writes this to the Galatians. He says, "The gospel has borne fruit in you since the first day you understood the grace of God." Do you hear that? A synonym for being born again is the day you understood the grace of God. Until you understand the grace of God, you do not belong to him, and you haven't really believed. Or put it another way, the day that you understand the grace of God. Isn't that an amazing verse? The day you understand the grace of God is the day you've crossed over the line, and the day you've become a Christian, as opposed to simply being a religious or moral or nice person.
So it's a free gift, not to be earned, not by works, not by your power, but by the Lord's Spirit. Well, thanks for joining us. Have a